Present.
Sam Kenny.
Present.
Ms. Sharple.
Here.
Casey Finch.
Here. Present.
Okay. We have one member of the public here, so I'm going to ask you to just introduce, if you could just state your name and your address. You don't have to give the number, just what street you live on is fine.
Christine Rollo, Ashland Road. I'm here to bring attention to the proposed development of a driving range and practice area at 10 Norton Lane, also identified as 344 Ashland Road. The almost 600 feet of frontage on Ashwamp Road is located across from the Tuttle Swamp and is located in the Aquifer Protection District. The plan includes extensive clearing of the wooded area. 85,000 cubic yards of earth will be removed over the course of 5 long years, exceeding over 12,000 trips to and from the site. The plan includes a parking lot requiring 95 spaces. There was a continuance granted by the planning board on the April 9th meeting. As a result, there has been no additional discussion for the public since the March 19th meeting on the matter. There will be a site walk on the 24-acre property this Saturday, April 13th at 8 a.m. I'm concerned about the effect the proposed development will have on the aquifer and the habitat of the Tuttle Swamp and surrounding areas. As I'm sure you're aware, this area is home to endangered and threatened species. There are already several concerns for the neighbors when considering the existing gravel pits and the town dump in this area. According to the March 19th minutes of the planning board meeting, the developer plans on asking for a waiver for the requirement of a hydrogeological study. As I'm also concerned that the application was accepted even though it had deficiencies and was only deemed substantially complete and not fully complete. The engineer design review also comments that there are missing pieces to the plan which are required by town regulations. Thanks for your time.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions or any other? Okay. Thank you. And I think, yeah, if you give that to Sue, she can put that into the minutes. Okay. We'll have approval. We have approval of the minutes from the public meeting on March 14th and of our non-public session on that date as well. Did everyone get a chance to review the minutes? Do I have a motion to approve the public minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Do I have to abstain?
I did.
So 3 and 1 abstention. Drew, are you voting on this? I think we can appoint Drew tonight because we're down a few people. Okay. And then we had the non-public minutes. Did everyone get a chance to look at those? Any corrections, questions?
No.
Motion to approve the non-public minutes?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Okay. We do not have a treasurer's report. So I did not get any financials from Wendy. I will follow up with her and see what's going on there after we got some last month. I'm going to skip all the way down on the agenda to Christian Matthews, who's here. He's going to talk to us tonight about collecting trails data and how we can all do this. And so I'm going to invite Christian up. And Christian, thank you. If you could just grab that microphone, that would be great.
Okay. I'm sure they can hear me. All right. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Christian Matthews. I live over on Kimball Way. And I am the Transportation GIS Analyst for Rockingham Planning Commission. You all are part of Stratford, but I work really close with them. So I saw that you all kind of had conservation maps, and I was working in Nottingham last year, kind of helping them do trail map stuff, and I was like, oh, might as well help you all. So I just wanted to give you a little quick presentation on, how to collect trails, sharing data, and everything like that. So a couple agenda items. We're going to talk about GPS trails. We're going to talk about how to actually collect that data. It's really easy. We're going to talk about why. Really, it's all about the public, getting them access and kind of getting that digital trend. What websites I like to send data to, kind of the more popular ones, and then just a couple recommendations on how to go about doing this. And if you all have any questions during this, please ask right away. So we're talking about GPS trails. So this is a screenshot. This is Kimball, and this is Durrell Drive. So this is land that my condo association owns. So I've gone back here and I've collected a bunch of trails. There's actually some nice ruins back here. So this is what you see online on a map. But what does that actually mean? And this is kind of what it actually is. Essentially, you have a GPS device, and it pings a location every 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So it's basically just a bunch of points. And software and websites can then take those points and then create lines. So essentially what we're really collecting is just your location every 2 or 3 seconds as you walk a trail. And that's what we're really trying to do to make these lines. So you can collect anything. Right now we're talking about trails. But in my realm, we collect culverts, stream crossings, stop signs, bike parking. You can collect anything with GPS. But because people like to be outside, we always want to do trails. We want to let people know where they can go, where they can walk, how difficult a trail is, hopefully to keep them on trail. And that's what we really like to collect here. So how do we do it? Technology's advanced really easy. You don't need a dedicated Garmin or any sort of device. You can use this thing. Everyone should have one. It's a cell phone. They've made it so easy now. Everyone knows Google Maps or Apple Maps. You've kind of navigated, I'm guessing. So it's pretty much that easy. So this is my favorite app. This is what I use, called OSM Tracker for Android. This is Android. Here's a similar version for Apple iOS. Basically, you download the app, you go to the beginning navigation system, and you can say start collecting data, and it'll start collecting a point every 2-3 seconds, however you want to set it. So as I'm walking, this way, point, 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 point. So then what I can do is I can go into my phone when I'm done, and I can look at some of the tracks that I've collected. So I'll pass my phone around to you all for some of the stuff that you can see what I've done. So if you just want to pass that down. So that all those red lines are all the times that I've walked around here in my backyard there. And the great thing about this is anyone can do this. So before, you had to have someone with that device. It's a little expensive. You might have had to be good. Right now, the accuracy on this is good enough that anyone can do it. So if you all went out by yourselves, great. But this is a great volunteer opportunity. People are doing these walks already. All you need to do is say, hey, can you start collecting your trails? When I was on the website, the conservation maps, I was looking at the Lozelle property. So I was like, oh, that's great. Let me go check those out. Someone had already been there, created the map, but there's so many trails in Newmarket that I didn't even know existed that I've started collecting. And that's the big thing, is just trying to get all this information out there. So these are the two apps that I would recommend. If you have your Android or your iPhone right now, download them. You can play around. They're really intuitive. You don't need to be an expert. They pretty much, the one on the left here, you just say start, stop. That's all you have to do. So why do we do this? So we had talked about maybe updating some of our conservation maps, and that's a great thing. The maps you have now are good, but it's a little hard to kind of see where the trails are on them. When you're out in the field, the maps look great, but on the website, if you want to plan a hike, it's a little hard to see where you're going. So this is really to increase access to public lands, kind of increase the public's knowledge, and this is a great step. The other point, number 3, is going digital. So we're kind of moving in GIS from static maps, static PDFs, to actually getting onto people's phones. So the good thing about these GPS tracks is, someone can then use an app and say, hey, I want to pull up the trails for all the properties in Newmarket and see myself where I'm on those trails, so they can make sure they're not getting lost. They can say, oh, I know that there's something really interesting about half a mile in. So once they have these GPS tracks, they can then follow that and kind of go along with it. It's a really nice feature that the public is kind of moving to, and all of GIS is moving to, is really digital cell phone based stuff. So websites. So after you collect that data, you really need to get it out to the public. So these are 4 websites that I would recommend. Has anyone ever used any of these websites? Which one?
All Trails.
All Trails,
Trails,
yep.
yep.
So All Trails is the big one, and people can upload it themselves. So over here, UNH and a couple other groups actually started their own site called trailfinder.info. So with All Trails, people can upload it, and All Trails is a private site, so they're making money by selling the premium services. Trailfinder is a nonprofit. They're not going to make money off you, but private individuals can't upload things. You have to go through them. So it does offer a little bit of control, and a lot of towns are moving towards moving everything here. Not saying that it can't also go on All Trails, but that they're really pushing this. All Trails is great. I'd still highly recommend it because everyone here knows about it. It's really great to use. OpenStreetMap is one of my favorites. It's actually Google Maps, but anyone can edit it. So if we know that Newmarket has 100 parking spots in front of Panzanella's, you can go in there and you can say that. You can say when parking is. So it's basically anyone can edit Google Maps. So it's really great for just getting trails up. In addition, OpenStreetMap has a really good offline navigation map. That's kind of what I was talking about, letting people, when they're out in the field who might not have data or Wi-Fi, be able to pull up their trail and say, oh, where am I at? So that's what I really use. And on the town of Newmarket, it's always good to just get your tracks up there, update your web maps. Still, people go to the town websites as the authoritative resource for this stuff. And recommendations. So if you want to start collecting data, now's a really good time. Probably last month was even better, but right now there's not a lot of trees, so you're going to get really good satellite reception. Your accuracy will be a little bit better, and it's just easier to follow the trails because right now I'm even starting to see some of the brushes coming on, maybe a little bit hard on some of these properties. Collecting each trail multiple times. So just with the way that GPS accuracy works, you might be within plus or minus 25 feet most of the cases. So I could be standing right here, but the GPS point that I collected actually said I was over there. And then 2 seconds later, I might be over there. So you really want to collect these trails a couple times. That way when someone can actually do a little quality control on them, they can say, oh, well, I was over there and over there, so the trail's probably in the middle here. So you always want to just kind of tighten things up by walking the trails more of the time. And Stratford Regional Planning Commission, I know they're GIS people. I know that they're capable of helping out. I think you said you already have a relationship with them.
Yep.
So they're a really good resource for kind of helping manage all of this. The idea would be maybe you all collect the data, Stratford, QA, QC, and then they can ship it off to, Trailfinder or All Trails. They can make updated maps. I don't know who built those maps. Was it, I think, CELT in Nature Conservancy did some of yours?
I think the maps probably date back, some of them, to when not long after the properties were acquired.
Yeah.
Some of those maps were made. We had a couple people on, certainly when Ellen was on the commission, she probably would have been helpful in making some of those maps. I'm thinking Ellen Snyder.
Or keep it in-house if any of you are any cartographers. That's the other option. Or a great intern opportunity. So kept it short and sweet because it's really easy now. Really, the technology, because you can collect this with an app on your phone, it's very, very simple. So I would highly recommend going back, and I'll ship this PDF to you all, just downloading some of these apps and really seeing how easy it is because you have extra volunteers. I think they're doing a cleanup at Heron Point next Saturday. That's a great opportunity. Maybe there's going to be a couple of you volunteering. I think there's only a couple trails, should be pretty easy. You could grab all those and do it in a day. But it's really that easy, and that's why there isn't too much technical stuff to talk about. So if y'all have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer any of them.
I do. So let's say we walk some trail 4 times.
Yeah.
Is there a good way to smooth that so you get one trail?
Yeah, exactly. So what I do is, So the way, when you're collecting all this data, you eventually end up with these things called GPX files. It's just a file format. So when you go into a GIS software, and I'll show you just because you're asking. So if you see those red lines, how they're all kind of out there, and that's the 25-foot accuracy. But if you see a dashed line in there,
Yep.
I basically took my GIS software and I drew in a line, knowing, okay, if I'm, again, the example was if I know I was walking over there and over there, I'm probably in the middle. And that's why about 4 times can help you. You'll basically just draw your line in the middle. That's how you smooth it out. You smooth it out manually, basically.
So the answer's not.
It's definitely a manual process. That's why with All Trails you got to be careful using their stuff, because someone might collect it one time and it might have been raining and cloudy and it could have been really far off. That's why some of their stuff you got to be really careful with. But yeah, that's why I'm Stratford, or if any of you all are GIS people, you'll be able to really make it. It's not that hard once you get that going.
Mm-hmm.
But you just need a GIS software to do that.
I think you're right.
Well, and Open Maps has a lot of the
Interesting.
trails that I use around that aren't really mapped out anywhere else. I'm seeing they look pretty accurate on here for Piscataqua-Zell,
Yeah.
and then up by Great Hill. All the trails are mapped out that I run, so
Yep.
it seems pretty good too. They're
Yeah,
pretty
and-
smooth on here.
Yeah, and that's what on OpenStreetMap I saw someone else had uploaded some of those trails. So I don't know if you all know Granite. It's UNH. It's out of UNH. It's the state GIS group. So they have some trails on that they host, and someone had uploaded them there. So that's another good location to send. Any conservation land updates, any trails. I know I've looked at the conservation properties that they have for us here, and some of the properties didn't have surveys answered for them. I think like the Leda Lane parcel and some of the Durrell open space, they didn't really know too much about those, but I don't think that's your all's.
Well, yeah, I think those fall more under when those developments were created. There was open space
Yeah.
created as part of them. As I'm looking to Drew since he would remember, but that's so there are parcels
Yeah.
all over town that are like that. Unfortunately, a lot of them I would describe as being in areas that are, for a good portion of the year, pretty wet.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're not usually prime uplands that were set aside. They're wetter areas.
Yeah.
So
Any other questions? So you all are going to download the app and start collecting trails soon?
yes, yes, and we can share this too. I'm looking to look at our social media chief directors. I mean, I
I'll
think
learn how to use it and get it posted on our little Facebook page.
Yeah.
That'd be great. And
Encouraging
I'm
everybody.
in town next Saturday, so I was thinking about coming to the cleanup anyways with my wife, so I could help out, get people started if you want that.
That
as
would
well.
be great.
It's great.
Yeah, I think people would appreciate that
Yeah.
if they haven't spent a lot of time out at Heron Point.
Yeah.
That would be nice for them to know that there's going to be something they can look at.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so
All
much
right, thank you all
for
very
coming
much.
down
Thank you.
tonight. That was
Definitely.
really appreciated.
Yeah. And I'll shoot this PDF over
These
to
trails
you.
are real accurate. It's awesome.
And also, thank you for stepping up to serve on the budget committee.
Oh,
We appreciate that too.
yeah, you like the 4 votes?
Hey, well, it's a tough job, and we appreciate you taking that one on.
Well, thank you all for your time as well, because
Thank
I love getting on our lands.
All right, thank you, Kristen,
Thank you all.
and hopefully we will see you on the 20th. That would be great. All right. So, as I said earlier, Sarah's not here. Previously, Casey was overseas. Now it's Sarah's turn to be overseas. So, at some point they connect in some part of the world, I'm assuming. So you guys are sort of covering half the globe here,
Yeah.
right? Because she went east and you went west, so somewhere. So we don't have anything from the planning board, although I'm going to send this around. It's a very brief note because we did have a public comment on it, on the proposal for Norton Lane. So I'll pass that around so that if you want to see that, it is listed in the what was provided to us. And then it doesn't give any details about this project, which sounds rather large, but maybe Sarah can give us an update the next time she's here. So, Casey, Town Council?
Town council, not too much to report. I will say that I just heard from the facilities director that the Heron Point gate, he's been doing work to wrap it up, so that's going to be good to go by the cleanup day, which is 4/20. Yeah, I think that's. Oh, and I guess connected with the Energy and Environment Commission, the town transfer station is now accepting compost. So just a reminder, I know we mentioned it at town council, but you don't need a sticker to get in there, and with any compost, it's free to go drop it off, and the town will be managing the compost over there for anyone who's interested. So it's considered a pilot program, but we plan to do it for quite some time as a pilot to see how it goes, and it's open to everybody. So
Where is it?
the transfer station.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's gonna be there.
So it's on Ash Swamp Road.
So you want my horse manure?
I think I'd have to check on that actually.
I saw
Yeah.
I saw pizza boxes, which I was
Yeah.
very happy about because I hated not being able to recycle a pizza
Yeah.
box, and now you can. So congratulations on that work on that committee. Are you guys going to be getting new committee assignments? Are we going to be?
We've already appointed, so I'm going to stay on conservation.
Oh,
and
great.
I don't think there was any major changes.
Oh, good.
So everyone's
Oh,
got the
good.
same positions.
Well,
so.
that's good news, Casey. Thank you. Okay, so the only thing I have in the chairman's report is I did get a formal request from the 8th grade at Newmarket Junior Senior High School for their end of the year school field trip. They go on a 3-night overnight to the Boy Scout camp, and they are asking for funds. They do environmental education, outdoor education, some team building activities, and it's kind of a culmination for their end of the year. We did support it last year, so they're asking for that support again this year. So does anyone have any questions about that?
Is there a specific dollar amount requested?
They did not know, I think, what specific dollar amount to request. They just said whatever support we can provide is appreciated, but they didn't have that because the person who did it last year is, I don't think, here this year.
You would do it in April?
Yeah, we would have done it in April last year.
Oh, no, it was the Boston Aquarium.
Oh, it was the Boston Aquarium? I thought that was the year before that they did that.
Boston Aquarium
Okay.
last year. And it was for, oops. She only submitted the check request, so we did it the month before that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they definitely didn't put a dollar amount in there. I can forward that email to you guys, but I didn't see it.
It was Janice Murray, Northern Aquarium, $400. No, that was
Their position is they don't turn anyone away, and they've done a great job of raising money.
I guess I'm just unclear what they need.
Well, because they don't turn anyone away, they are trying to raise money for scholarships for kids. So
$743.74 was voted on February 8th, 2018. Mrs. Murray requested it for the round trip bus to Boston, to the aquarium, and the kids were responsible for the $11.95 entrance fee. very specific amount, $743.74.
That's a quoted amount.
So they need the funds to pay for the overnight of the rental of the camp?
Yeah,
That
exactly.
makes sense. Do you know how many kids might be going by any chance?
They have about 60 kids
About
in the
60
8th grade.
kids. I don't know, what, $1,000?
I don't remember us ever funding the trip to the Boy Scout camp.
I thought we had done it, but I guess not.
I don't think we did, Andrew.
It was new last year, so this is only the second year they've done it.
So nobody's going to
No requests. We have no other requests pending.
Well, it seems to me it could be any amount we want then.
Do we know what the total cost is? I mean,
Let
I
me
think
look and see.
historically, we've said that we would make $1,000 available for support for field trips.
Okay, so the entire 8th grade team is spending 3 days and 2 nights camping at Hidden Valley Camp in Griswold Scout Reservation. The purpose of the trip is to enhance student leadership skills, bond through team building, and through challenges in the natural world. We'll be doing numerous outdoor activities such as reflective hikes, wilderness first aid, fishing, an outside obstacle course, swimming, kayaking. But they didn't put a dollar amount in here. So
About $1,000.
do we need to, for if there was some reason they didn't spend it all, would we I wonder if that is in any way affected by doing something. I don't know. How about,
It's a lot of kids.
It is
yeah,
a lot of kids.
60 kids.
A lot of
It's actually kind of a small class they have.
They have to buy the food and
Yes,
everything.
and they have
so-
to feed them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Say we give them $1,000.
Okay. So, do you want to make that motion?
I motion we give the Boy Scout,
It's Newmarket 8th grade class.
Newmarket 8th grade class, $1,000.
Expend funds of $1,000.
Thank you, Sue.
Do
Thank
we
you,
have a
Sue.
second on that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I will respond to them and let them know. All right. So, under old business, just a reminder, and I'm going to be reaching out to Richie Shelton to talk to him to get specifics. Our Serve with Liberty Day at Shopmire Park is 5/10, May 10th, which is a Friday, and it'll be from approximately 8:30 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. And I expect, we'll be doing some light, removal of items that have come maybe with winter flooding and things like that. And we might do some planting. But Richie said he was going to go over a list of things with me. So I'll meet with him and get that list. All are welcome. I did get an email from Patty Marsden. That is also a Newmarket Cares Day. So there are going to be a lot of people out doing things over the next couple of weeks. So it's kind of exciting that there's so many different things going on. And there's also a Serve with Liberty project out at the Nature Conservancy property. So they're also going to have volunteers working out there. So there's going to be a lot of people doing things in Newmarket, and that is exciting.
Do you know what they're doing out at the Nature Conservancy building?
They said they were doing, it sounded very similar, that they were going to be doing some gardening work. I guess they have some gardens out there So it sounds like that was one of the focuses, was working on getting those beds ready, probably.
Thank you.
I didn't know that they had gardens out there, actually, but that's what they said. So,
Do you know how many people have signed up so far?
I believe we have 8 or 9 people at this point for our project at Shopmeyer Park. I haven't checked it lately, but we're only up to 12, so I'm trying to keep it somewhat small because I don't know how much work. If we had too many people, we probably would run out of things to do at Shopmeyer Park. But so we'll look forward to that. And so the Heron Point cleanup is scheduled for Saturday, April 20th, which is also, that is Earth Day, right? April 20th, or is it April 21st? I always get that
I think it's
confused.
the Monday.
Yeah,
22nd.
22nd, okay. But it's sort of in the same vicinity. And there is a sign up that Melissa's posted that, can you tell us a little more about that posting that was put out there for volunteers?
It's not so much a sign up, or I just reposted something that Dale, I forget his last name.
Jones.
Yeah, he lives down in that area. He had posted it to one of the sites from Newmarket, so I just reposted it to the conservation site. But basically listing the day and time that everyone was going to be down there. So
Do you know what that day? I forgot
yeah, it's
to
the
put-
20th.
The 20th, but do you know what time he wants?
9 to noon.
9 to noon.
9 to noon.
Yeah.
Thank you, Casey. So, the gate should be open so people can actually drive down and park in the parking lot that day. So it'll be kind of the official reopening of Heron Point. So, I saw that there's been a lot of questions. People were asking about, can you actually walk on those
The
decks that are
and
built
everything.
out there?
Yeah.
And yes, you can. That's why they were put out there.
It's nice
so
to see everybody
that's
getting
exciting.
excited for it.
It kind of tells you it's been a long time since people have been out there. So we'll look forward to that. Sounds like there'll be a lot of people there. So that's great.
Yeah, the hope is we're going to use the parking lot in DBW. You can do a pickup with any of the debris, smaller debris we pick up. And I figured I went down there this winter to look at the gate where it was, look at some of the decks. The decks are in good shape, but some of the stairs going to the decks are going to need to be replaced. So good chance to kind of just survey how things are.
Yeah, if we see anything, that's a good point. We might want to go down there before people go down there. If we do, I don't know, should we put some caution tape up? I'm just worried if people don't know, if steps aren't safe.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we should go down there and
It's-
put some flags
There's a
out.
couple steps that were just a little bit frail, a little bit weak. So it wouldn't be a bad idea just to
Yeah.
let them know
Especially-
until we get a good look at the steps.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
anybody's coming with kids or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But the decks look pretty good.
Okay.
When I was down there in January, maybe.
What
Well-
was the coastal cleanup that you posted? Remember there was one about the coastal cleanup?
Yeah, let's see.
And as a general public service announcement, ticks are back out.
Yes.
So if you're out and about in the woods, do a really good tick check when you get home. Basically, once the snow cover's gone,
Yep.
they're back and they're moving.
Yep.
Yep.
Especially if you're
Found a
in
few on me this past weekend.
Yep.
you're in the leaf litter, you're gonna find them.
Or they'll
the-
find you.
the-
As may be.
Great Bay National Wildlife Refuge shoreline cleanup is the same day. So Saturday, April 20th, starting at 9 a.m. And that is posted to the conservation Facebook page as well.
Casey, do we need to get trash bags, or is that something that can we grab some from somewhere? I'm just thinking if that's something we could provide.
I'll look into that because the last thing I left was just asking DPW to come down, so I wasn't sure if they want it bagged or if they just want to put it in the back of a vehicle they have. But I'll check on that.
Because I know in the past when we did like Newmarket cleanup day and we actually just like walked streets and stuff in Newmarket and picked up a lot of trash along the side of the road. We just put it all in bags and then tied them off and left them on the side of the road, and then they drove around and picked them all up, and that worked pretty well, I think. So
I'll confirm that, and then I'll post on the conservation page, and I'll post with Dale Jones, who also has the other post for the Heron Point Sanctuary. But I'll confirm that.
yeah, I'm wondering if we also ought to put something. Just reminds people maybe to wear gloves or something like that if they are picking up trash. I always just recommend people wear gloves, just in case.
Yeah.
I'd hate to have someone pick up something and get poked or something like that. So it's always good to practice that. The only other thing, and this is the good news, is that I did get something from Scott Boudreau regarding the Dearborn survey. I just haven't made any progress on the next step, which is writing the letter. I didn't get to that, but Scott did get it to us right at the end of the last month. So we did get it. The next step would be, and what I really want to do is just go in, probably sit down either with Mike Hoffman or something like that, because he's good at, he can give me all the names of all the abutters, and then when we draft the letter we can make sure and cover all those abutters. But that's the next step, and also sharing it with the state. So the good news is that part is done. Is there anything else on that, Drew? I know he copied you on it as well when he sent it.
No, I think you got most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other big part is sharing the draft easement language with the state to make sure they're good with that.
Yeah, it's two parts. One, just sending everything off to the state, getting their input, and then two, notifying the abutters. So those are the two things that I have to do on that. I think that photo contest, but Chris isn't here, so I don't know if Melissa, if you have anything to share on that.
Yeah, we a few weeks ago, actually 2 weekends ago, made just little flyers, copies of flyers at Staples. I gave her about 25 of them. I saved a few for you. There's one, I put one up at Crack Skulls in the window. Chris's plan was to just distribute those around to different retailers in the area. But it talks about the photo exhibit and the event and dates and all that. It's basically the same posting that was put on the Facebook page.
Great. We should probably share something with the library too. They seem to be good about getting information out to people.
I connected with them already.
Oh, great. Thanks. Sure.
Yeah, I reached out to her last month about the bus thing, borrowing a vehicle for a summer type thing, and
cool.
she was on board. She's like, just call when we get closer, and we'll set it up
Okay. Great.
for an outing.
And the only bill that I have is for our annual dues for the New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commissions for $425. So I would make a motion that we approve paying that.
Spend $425 for
Our annual membership to the
County Conservation, no.
New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commissions.
I second your motion.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And I believe there is a separate budget line item for that.
I do think you're right. So I'll need to see Wendy to make sure that that gets put on the right. Casey,
It should come out of the budget rather than coming out of the conservation fund.
I have one thing to mention too, if we're old new business.
Yep.
A member of the public reached out to me, I guess over on kind of near Ash Swamp and Grant. I guess there's some road work done. I haven't got over there yet because I just heard this Tuesday night. But I guess there's some kind of like mesh netting where the turtles cross, somewhere around the landing turtles. So what was mentioned to me was that we got to make sure to put the signs back up for the turtles or fold them down, however that works. And then I guess the mesh stuff that kind of went over the side of the road, the patch up, it's not, the holes aren't big enough for the turtles to get through. So I guess the idea is that now it's kind of forcing a lot of them to avoid any of the, I guess the like the drainage stuff that goes underneath the road. So those are the two things that were mentioned. Just seeing if we could maybe.
It's right at that corner.
It's somewhere right around
Yeah,
there.
I think the road was washed out. The
Okay.
side of the road was washed out.
And I haven't been over yet because I heard about it Tuesday. So I figured the signs are something that. Is
yeah,
probably easy.
Yeah, we
that's
should
easy.
get
I
those
can.
up.
I just need to email them. That's pretty easy to do.
Yeah, I guess the wherever the washout was, the netting is just small enough that a turtle couldn't fit through. So just to kind of be mindful of that, or see if we can maybe open up some larger holes or whatever. And I haven't been over yet, so I'm not sure the exact location, but I thought I'd mention it.
So Patrick, you're gonna email, that to you?
Yep. So thank you for that. Yes, the turtle signs. Always, that is a good
Forgot about
reminder.
those.
We don't have any signs that we put out, but at some point in the very near future, there will be a night or two, usually, it's only 1 or 2 nights actually, where there will be lots of amphibians that will go across the road, and particularly in that area, like in that ash swamp area, because it's salamanders that
Breeding.
move. Yeah, the spot is, if we have any in this area. I don't think we're not like on a map as far as having any, but it's just something to keep in mind. I think if we had like confirmed presence of species, we probably would have had something from the state because they're endangered.
Would Ellen know?
She might know. She might know. So, but yeah, there's some great places if you go to Picassac Loisel, and there's no trail actually, but if you walk sort of so that you're at the highest point of that property, where all the rocks are that people like to rock climb on, if you get to the top there is a huge vernal pool. Like, it's almost as big as from this room, and in that pool, if you hit it on the right day, you will see a zillion frogs in there. I think they're spring peepers or they're wood frogs or something, and it's just amazing to see.
There's some right here, off of Hersey Lane, right where I live. There's a vernal pool right up the road. There has to be the salamanders in this area because they're in Durham. I mean, why wouldn't they be here?
Yeah, they have in some places put up the signs. I don't know, but I've never seen them here. So, but anyway, if anyone spots any, let us know. Spotted salamander. It's sort of dark black, almost with big yellow
They're pretty,
spots.
pretty neat.
Yep. All right, that's all I had on the agenda for tonight, unless there's anything else. I'm excited for people to get out there and do the all trails, honestly, or the Trail Finder, All Trails, OpenStreetMap. get out there with a tracker and do that, I think that could be great.
And their camera.
Yes.
Take a few really nice pictures.
Yeah.
And look for salamanders.
And look for salamanders. Pictures of salamanders.
Okay.
Alrighty.
So, motion to adjourn.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Good night.